How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. I know that the ending of the first half was not what we wanted. Obviously, we had a chance to sweep the Orioles, and it all went downhill in the ninth inning, and we've had to chew on that for an entire week. But I'm glad you made it through, and I'm glad you're back. Obviously, some new looks to the pre-recorded voicemail show, trying to improve on that because it became so popular in the first half. Got some other stuff coming. We got Aiden with the StatCast report coming this weekend. That's going to be fun. But the Yankees open up a series against the Rays, the division rival Rays, who are not having a great year. In fact, there's been some talk that they might unload some of their players. The Yankees have been linked with Isaac Paredes. He is a good young infielder, a lot of power. And here's the issue I have with trading with the Rays. They are really, really knowledgeable when it comes to prospects and turning young players into quality major leaguers. Look what they did with Ben Rortvedt already. They weren't able to do it with Mike Ford, but whoever the Rays ask for in a trade, I think those are the guys you got to keep. Those are the guys you got to hang on to and not trade under any circumstances because you just know it's going to come back and bite you. Got Gerrit Cole pitching tonight. I'm really optimistic about Gerrit Cole. He threw the ball much better his last time out. He's starting to look like the actual Gerrit Cole that we're used to. And if he can be that guy in the second half, it'll really stabilize the Yankees' rotation during this pennant chase. We saw some good things from Luis Gil. He kind of bounced back from that little bit of a dead arm period. So Yankees could have two legitimate aces, at least for the foreseeable future, as we head into the second half. We've gotten some good starts from Marcus Stroman. We got some good stuff out of Nestor Cortez. I'm feeling really good about the Yankees right now. We're getting Clark Schmidt back possibly in about, 3 weeks, maybe a month. And then, Giancarlo Stanton is right around the corner. We got the trade deadline coming up, a chance to reinforce the roster. So there's a lot to look forward to in the second half. This could be Aaron Boone's last chance with the Yankees. Look, he's had some years where he's had a really good roster and the team has not done very much. But really this comes down, in my opinion, to Brian Cashman's roster construction over the last few years. Way too right-handed over the last few years. They made those adjustments this year. They got Soto. They got Verdugo. So the pieces are in place. Now we just got to rely on Aaron Boone to be able to get us out of this funk that we were in the back end of the first half after that great start. So we're going to take some of your voicemails, then we got the Nostra Derek prediction, and then I'll be back with the post-game show after tonight's game. So tune in for that. Hope you enjoy the new look to the voicemail show.
I live in New York City! I cannot believe you had the balls to do it!
Hey, this is Brandon. Long-time Yankee fan. So thank you so much for having me. Love your show. You're doing a great job. I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous with the second half considering how the first half ended. I was at the Orioles and Yankee game Saturday that we won 6-1, but that last game really hurt my heart. So, I feel like the rest of the way, we're going to end up pretty average. I don't think we're going to be scorching like we were at the beginning of the season. And I hope that Cashman makes some moves for two arms and a hitter.
I don't know what the breakdown of players that the Yankees pick up will be. I'm guessing more arms than bats because we do have Stanton coming back. We do have potentially John Birdie and the Martian all coming back. Those should be some nice offensive upgrades. But I do think they need some arms. Now, one thing is for sure. Brian Cashman is not going to sit out the trade deadline because Brian Cashman never sits out the trade deadline. They're trying to make the playoffs. They're all in. They're going to try and win with Juan Soto. I expect Cashman to be aggressive. I'm looking for kind of a 2022 type of trade deadline where he gets 4 or 5 players. Now, that didn't necessarily work out. You got Frankie Montas, you got Andrew Benintendi. You had so many injuries. Pretty much everybody he traded for got injured, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. But I do expect him to be quite creative and to make the moves necessary to plug some of the holes on this roster.
Hey, good morning, Derek Buck here. Just wanted to make a prediction for the regular season. With the Yankees' current 58 wins at a winning percentage of .592, that shakes down to my prediction of a 96-win season.
I think I would sign up for 96 wins right now, considering how the Yankees played in June and early on into July, where they were really bad. They were one of the worst teams in baseball, if not the worst. But they got off to such an amazing start that they're still projected for this nice win total. I think I would sign up for 96. I think that the Yankees could potentially do a lot better or a lot worse, depending on how these next few weeks go. If they come out of the gate strong, they've got kind of a weak second half schedule. I could see them winning 100 games. But if they continue to slump and can't get out of this funk, I could also see them winning 85 games, which probably doesn't get you into the playoffs. Almost certainly doesn't get you into the playoffs, despite the Arizona Diamondbacks last year winning 84 games and getting to the World Series. But I digress. I think the Yankees are probably going to win somewhere around 92, 93 games. That would be my prediction.
Hey, just curious, with the trade deadline approaching, which prospects do you think are untouchable?
If there were a prime Randy Johnson level pitcher out there that you could go get, or, a prime Mark McGwire type bat that you could go out and get, I would say nobody. Honestly, I would say nobody. But right now, they need their outfield depth because they're, potentially going to lose Juan Soto. They're probably not going to sign Alex Verdugo. So I don't think they're going to trade either Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones. And then you got Neely, the relief pitcher from AAA, Jack Neely. He is 6'8" and so far between AA and AAA this year, he's got a 2.37 ERA. He's pitched 38 innings. He's got 59 strikeouts. So I could see the Yankees wanting to hold on to him and get him into that bullpen at some point in the second half. He could be a real difference maker. 38 innings is not a ton for a flamethrower. 24 years old, he could be fresh in the second half. So stay tuned. Would love to see Jack Neely get an opportunity.
Hey, Derek. Love your show, man. You are my favorite. This is Bobby the Bear from down south in Atlanta. Just wanted to let you know Clay Holmes will not be the closer by year's end. Clay Holmes will not be the closer by year's end. Yippee!
That's a good yippee, Bobby. I kind of agree with you. I think Tanner Scott has potential to be the closer. I think you can slide Clay Holmes back into that setup role. I don't think they're going to be able to go get Mason Miller. I know there's been a lot of talk about Mason Miller, but he's going to get such a haul that I don't know if the Yankees are going to want to spend that much on one guy. I would rather see them spread the trades around a little bit. If the Rangers decide to unload, I still like David Robertson. Apparently, there were some issues with David Robertson at the end of his tenure with the Yankees. Something about playoff shares, and it didn't end well. And so I could see the Yankees not bringing him back. But if he is available, that's a guy that I would look into. Chad Green, if the Blue Jays decide to unload and have a fire sale. And I'm sure there's some guys out there that Brian Cashman's keeping an eye on, guys like, Tonkin and Tim Hill that are kind of out of nowhere, names that we haven't heard of or haven't paid close attention to that he could pick up. Scott Efros is due to come back, but the most recent report that I've heard is that he's lost a little bit of something. And that's why he's in AAA right now instead of them getting him back up. He's had some surgeries and sometimes that can take a physical toll. So he's not, reading on the pitch data where they want him to read. So they're going to need some bullpen help. I still think they need another bat. Has potential to be an interesting few weeks for sure.
Hey, Derek, this is Dominic. I believe that the Yankees, after their meltdown with the Holmes, Volpe, and Verdugo mess up that they had a few days ago now, I believe that after that Baltimore Yankees scuffle that they had, the first game of the series, that entire fight, I believe that the Yankees will end up finishing around 89 wins. I think that they will sweep the Rays out of the Bronx.
You had a couple of different points there. So you brought up the little scuffle, but then you brought up the bad ending. So, was the scuffle supposed to get them started off on the right track, or was it, something that set the Orioles off? Or, I'm struggling to find the thread there, but 89 wins probably does not get it done in the American League East. So we've got to hope they do better than that for sure.
My name's Jerry, first-time caller, long-time listener, love the channel. My question to you, and it's maybe more of a statement than a question, is do you think the Yankees will actually have, the common sense to acknowledge that Clay Holmes isn't a closer? I mean, the fan base, anyone who's more than a casual, I mean, we literally call this guy Heart Attack Holmes, Cardiac Clay. Like you always say, just not closer stuff, doesn't have a strikeout pitch, pitches to contact. That's just a recipe for disaster, especially in close games, which a closer comes into. And in the playoffs, it's going to be a nightmare. So the crazy thing to me is that, you don't even really have to go out and get someone. I think Yankees fans would complain a lot less if even Luke Weaver or Tim Hill was closing games and Holmes was like a setup guy. Just curious to see your take on that, if you think the Yankees will ever swallow their pride and say that Clay isn't a closer. Thank you.
They have to. I mean, they have to see that this guy puts too many men on base. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, Holmes technically did his job in the final game of that Orioles series. And yeah, he got the ground ball that should have ended the game, but he also loaded the bases. And he always has trouble. He never has an easy 1, 2, 3 inning. The Yankees need a shut-down, door-slamming closer. And if they don't recognize that, I have zero hope for them in the second half, because that is an obvious fix that will make your team stronger down the stretch, not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs. You can't run Clay Holmes out there in the playoffs in the 9th inning. I'm sorry. I think he would do much better if he was a 7th inning guy who came in to kind of bridge the gap between the starter or the guys who pitch in the middle relief and the lockdown guys at the end of the game, possibly Luke Weaver, possibly somebody from outside the organization. But I think Clay holmes' days as the Yankee closer are numbered. All right, today's Nostra Derek prediction. I'm calling 2+ hits for Anthony Volpe. He obviously had a tough ending booting that final ground ball against the Orioles, and I think that's going to light a fire under his ass. He's had some rest, and I think he's going to come out swinging the bat well. 2 hits from Anthony Volpe tonight.
Back, track, wall, see ya.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other fans find the channel. NYY Recaps is also available on all your favorite podcast platforms, and we'll see you next time.